Hello, Illumineers. Welcome back to Limited Quackdown, episode number 3. Joining me on the line tonight, we have Jimmy from New Orleans, and we're going to get tonight into the rare, super rare, and legendary set review for Winterspell. We tried to get this all out last week, but it turns out that going card by card takes a little bit longer than we anticipated. And we're glad to be back this week to bring you the rest of the set review. Unfortunately, Moo Man Joe had some emergency dental work today, so he had to sit this one out, but we look forward to having him back next week. And we're super excited to get into this tonight and grade the rest of these cards for everyone. So let's not waste any time this evening. Oh, first, we are now sponsored. Snuggly Duckling has been sponsored by Matified. So big shout out to Matified. If you want to get some of the most amazing playmats with custom foil designs, please go over to matified.com, show them some love, and tell them that Limited Quackdown and Snuggly Duckling sent you over. So without further ado, actually, let's get into the set review tonight. We're going to start again by going over our grading scale. We're going to use the limited resources style grading scale, and let's have Jimmy kick us off with a review of what that means.
All right, yeah. So the grading style we're using is just A through F, with A's being the best. Those are your bombs, your game winners, your first pick slams. There's just some examples from Whispers in the Well. Ursula, Cat, Horseman, all first pick, crazy good. And next we have our B's, which is your good removal, your card advantage cards. You're perfectly fine, happy taking these first pick. Normally you're going to get these like your 1 through 4s. And then our C's. These are basically probably be most of your deck most of the time. They're standard rate cards, average removal. They'll just help you win the games.
You never could have told me back set 1-2 that a 6-7 for 5 would be a standard rate card at this point.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Power creep is real. And then we got our D's. Usually these can make the cut. You're hoping they don't. You're hoping you get enough C's where you don't have to play any D's. But sometimes you're going to have to play, 4 or 5 of these. And sometimes they're good in really niche situations where they're just pretty average or way below average. 90% of the time, 10% of the time, they're really, really good. And so occasionally you might have some sort of song deck or some other type of synergies, detective, ward, whatever. And then our Fs. In these cards, we are trying not to play at all costs. They are almost always unplayable. And they're just don't play them. Avoid at all costs.
Excellent. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to assign every grade, every card a grade, A through F. We throw some pluses and minuses in there. And occasionally we'll have a build around card, which is a card that if you just put it in your deck, it's probably going to be a D. But if you put a bunch of the right cards around it, it could be a B, B plus, or even creep into A's and be one of the better cards in your deck.
All right, let's start off with the rares.
All right, here we go. First up, we have Ruben, the Sandwich Expert. He's a 2-cost inkable character. He has 1 strength and 3 willpower. He quests for 1, and you can exert him to remove 2 damage from a chosen character, and for each 1 damage removed from this character, you're going to pay 1 ink less for the next character you play this turn. So Jimmy rated this a B, Moo Man a B minus, and I put this at a C plus. I was a little bit lower on this card because by the time you have damage on your cards, I thought you're not going to be able to ramp as much. You're going to give up Ruben, but I can see some situations where on a turn 3 or 4, you might be able to challenge in with a 3 willpower character, put a couple damage on it and ramp out your 6-drop. Lumpy on turn 4 is still going to be, is going to be a real menace. And I'm assuming that's why you rated it up at the B level.
Yeah. Anything that helps play your 5s and 6s earlier, I'm always going to rate higher. It's to me so far. I haven't played the format yet, but in looking at it in a vacuum, it seems like your 1 through 3s are all pretty mid. So you want to play your as many 4, 5, 6s as possible, and anything that helps make that even earlier in the game is worth it to me.
I could see that. I could definitely see coming up on this a little bit, depending on if the format plays out in that way where we're going to be playing a bunch of higher cost characters. And the twos do seem kind of weak in this set. So a two that'll get you some ramp seems like it could be good.
Next up, we got Mickey Mouse. He's a 2-drop inkable sapphire, 3/2, and whenever this character quests, put the top card of your deck face down under him. And whenever this character is banished in a challenge, you may put all cards that were under him under another chosen character or location of yours. It looks like we got C's across the board on this one. He's just, basically a vanilla 3/2 with maybe somehow you get his ability off that's relevant, but probably not.
Yeah, definitely more of a synergy card. If you have some good boost characters like the Tamatoa that gets an extra lure for every card under him, or the Scrooge at 2 where he gets the additional strength and willpower for each card under him, you could probably do some neat tricks with this card. But
Yeah, or like the Alice 4-drop, I think, is probably okay too with this one.
Alice, Pete, Bambi, yeah, we're going to see some real bangers for some boosting cards later. So I guess if you have some of those, this will go up in your pick order a little bit, but at a rare, you might have to take it more highly just because people are going to draft the rares higher just because they have that little triangle on the bottom. Next, we have Containment Unit, a 2-cost uninkable item. And this says when you play this item, choose a character. They can't challenge or quest while this item is in play. And then at that sounds pretty good, but there's more. At the start of your turn, choose and discard a card or banish this item. So essentially, in Magic, they call this an Oblivion Ring style effect, where you put it into play and it kind of removes a character from the game until this item is out of play. It comes at a very steep cost, though, where you're going to have to discard a card at the beginning of your turn. So you at least, for 2 ink, you get it locked down for a turn. But overall, we gave this Fs across the board. It's uninkable. You're going to have to discard to keep it in play. Again, a card you're probably going to lose to when an inexperienced player plays it late in the game and says, you can't quest now, but don't let that sway you into playing this card.
Yeah, it's too much disadvantage to yourself. Discarding a card every turn just to lock down one character.
Yep. Yeah, don't put this in your deck and you'll do better for it.
Next up, we have Timon. He is a 3-ink, uninkable, 2/3. And when you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. Me and Moo Man have this as a D, and you have as a C-.
Yeah, I think that when it gets a card, it's going to get one of the better cards in their hand because typically you're not going to see too many non-character cards in the limited decks. But being a 3 uninkable, it's a little understat. Definitely understated as a 3-cost. Maybe it's a better sideboard card. If you're playing against an opponent you see has a lot of non-characters in their deck, it could get up maybe into that C range. It's probably C-, D+ overall, though.
Yeah, the unequal parts are what pushes it down from C to D for me. Just because the set has so many uninkables and there's so many good ones that you'd rather play over this. Definitely agree that that's probably a sideboard card. If you see someone play, Let It Go on you or something like that, you can just hold this to protect one of your other characters.
This is a toughie. Akud et Emuti, I believe. This is another 3-cost uninkable, but this one's an action song. And this says you pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn, draw a card. So it's going to give you some ramp. It can be sung. I know everyone's really excited about what this card is going to do in Constructed, being able to sing it on turn 2 with an underdog angel, but this is not Constructed. You're generally not going to have that synergy built into your deck every time. This was one of my votes for a card that'll be overvalued in draft just because of the impact it's going to have on Constructed. A song that replaces itself is almost always going to get a C because you kind of get to play it for free and cantrip it. And, like you said on the earlier card, ramping something out a couple turns early is a good way to gain an advantage.
Yeah, this would be a B for me if it was inkable, but since, again, uninkable, being able to play that Lumpy on turn 4 is always nice.
Yep. Lumpy all day.
Yep. Next up, we got John Smith's Compass. It's got a lot of text. I don't want to read it, but I am going to. At the end of your turn, if a character of yours challenges turn, banish this item. At the end of your turn, if none of your characters challenge this turn, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character card with cost 3 or less, or named Pocahontas, you may put that card into your hand. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. Yeah, we all have this as F, except for Moo Man also has it as a C+ build around. I guess I could see that with the just taking a bunch of 3-drops, hoping to get this, and just turning sideways and playing more 3-drops.
If this is a card you take early, and that aggro deck that we were kind of dreaming about last week is really a thing, this could be one of the better cards in your deck if you're just turning a lot of stuff sideways and then end of turn draw a card. But
yeah,
I think generally we're going to be avoiding this one as well.
Yes, for sure. All right.
Next, we have Genie Magical Researcher. This is a very good boost card. This is a 3-cost inkable, 3/4 Ally Whisper. He quests for 1, and he has boost for 1. And it says this character gets +1 lore for each card under him. So this is an amazing target for the Mickey Mouse we saw a little bit earlier. If you can slide a couple of free cards under him, and all of a sudden he's questing for 3 or 4, that's a really good advantage to build up. And the difference, I think, between boost 1 and boost 2 can't really be understated. You can find a lot of places where you can pay 1 to boost something, where paying 2 is really going to set your game plan back a turn or two. So we all like this card at a B. I could give it a B-. It's probably more of a solid B. I think this is going to be a constructed all-star as well, but for limited, it's looking very good.
Yeah, its stats bring it down some. I mean, if it was larger, it would definitely be an A, because you're probably only going to get 1 quest off of it unless you can protect it somehow. But you can just sit there and boost it until you can quest for like 6 in 1 turn, which is kind of crazy.
It seems really good that they'd let this card do something like that.
All right, next we have, do you want to build a snowman?
You have to sing it. Come on.
I'm not butchering our listeners' ears. This is a 3-cost uninkable action song, and it has chosen opponent chooses yes or no. If they choose yes, you gain 3 lore. If they choose no, they choose a character of theirs and put that card on the bottom of their deck. I have this as a D. Both of you have it as an F. This is basically that maybe there's an aggro deck, and if there is, this might be in it.
This card just kind of reads to me, your opponent puts their 1 or 2 drop on the bottom of their library, and for a 3-cost uninkable, it doesn't seem like a good inclusion, but there could be some corner cases where it shines.
Yeah, I mean, I think at a lot of games might get into where you're basically, you challenge back and forth, and you're stuck with 1 character, and it could just be 3 lore closer to the end of the game. But that's if you draw it later and not early, and then you get punished. So
what a brick in your opener.
Yeah, not looking to include it most of the time, but maybe in some niche cases.
Next, we have Mystical Inkcaster, 3-cost uninkable item, and it says exert and pay 3 ink to play a character with cost 5 or less for free. They gain rush, and at the end of your turn, banish them if they're still around. We gave this Fs across the board. Generally, just putting a character into play to watch it immediately go to your discard is going to be disadvantageous to you. Being able to play a character for 2 less, but then losing it, I just can't really see the situations where you would ever want to play this card.
Yeah, I don't think there are enough when you play characters that give you something that would make it worth it. If there were more, when you play this character, get some advantage. I can see this, but not this current set.
Yeah, if they ever create a mechanic which is rush, but for questing, cards like this can become more interesting when there's a lot of characters that do things upon questing that don't necessarily happen upon challenging. But even still, I don't think you'd want to give up your good cards that are going to generate card advantage to a card like this.
All right, next we have a 3-cost inkable emerald card, Ling, Snow Warrior. He is a 2/3 that quests for 2, and he has pay 1 ink. Chosen character gets +1 strength this turn. We have this as Bs across the board, with you and Mooman both having B pluses. Yeah, just being able to have one of your earlier pump one of your earlier drops up to trade up is pretty good, and I'm always loving a 2-quester.
Yeah, a 2-quester for 3 is great. This ability on the Stitch from a couple sets ago and from Michaela in the last set, I'm just having it on its own character when it can only boost itself is very good. I'm very excited to see what this card does. Being able to spread that ability around to other characters seems amazing.
Yeah, very, very good.
High pick. Next, we have Retro Evolution Device. This is a 3-cost inkable item, and this says pay 1 ink and exert to banish a character of yours to play a character with cost up to 2 more than the banished character for free. I think this is just disadvantage all the way around. We both gave it an F. Mooman gave it a D-. You're having to first include this card in your deck and then give up other characters to play different characters. I mean, I would much rather have Ruben to play cards that cost 2 less without having to give up one of your existing characters.
Yeah, it's just too much disadvantage. Again, if there was more when this character was banished cards that did something, maybe it could be playable, but there are not, so just leave this one sitting in the sideboard.
Yeah, there was a Prince Eric from one of the earlier sets that when it's banished, it banishes a different character. And if you could include, there was a card like that, I could see wanting to play this card alongside something like that, but definitely not in this set.
Next up, we have Eliza Maza. He's a 3-cost inkable ruby 4/4, and your character's strength can't be reduced below their printed value. And she's a gargoyle, so she has Stone by Day. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, this character can't ready. I gave her a D, and both of you gave her a C. Yeah, the only reason it's a D and not a C for me, even though the stat line is solid, is because of the Stone by Day.
Yeah, I think generally she's going to trade up. The first ability is kind of flavor text in limited. But yeah, the 4/4 for 3, even if you have to turn her sideways and she can't ready early in the game, your opponents are still going to have to trade at a disadvantage usually into it. So I don't mind it being a 2-for-1 in that way. If you can take out something small and then they're forced to throw something back at it to finish it off, it's going to take out most of the stuff they're going to throw at it. But I can understand the disadvantage of the Stone by Day. Next we have Goofy, Klutzy Skier. This is a 3-cost uninkable character. He has 1 strength and 2 willpower. He quests for 2, and he has an ability where you exert and banish him to banish chosen character. We give this B's across the board, with Mooman and I giving it the little extra plus. This is basically a 4-cost removal spell. Play it on 3 and kill something on turn, or banish something on turn 4, or save it till later in the game. Play it out early and just have your opponent have to hold on to cards that they don't want to lose. And in the meantime, if they're not playing to the board, you put a bodyguard in front of it, quest for 2 a couple times. I think this card will end up doing a lot.
Yeah, I think this card's very good just for that reason alone. Just being able to make them have to play, maybe they don't want to play their best character in their hand, so they have to play a worse character, and then you can get advantage on the board with your other characters while he holds them back. All right. Next, we got The Cold Never Bothered Me Anyway. This is a 3-cost uninkable ruby action song, and look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a location card and put it into your hand. Put the rest into your discard. You may pay 3 less for the next location you play this turn. Yeah, F's across the board. You're just never gonna have enough locations to make this worth it. It's gonna be a 3-cost discard 4 cards. That's all it's gonna be.
Yep. Next we have Kristoff's Loot. We actually spoke a little bit about this card last week. This is a 3-cost uninkable item. You can pay 2 and exert it to reveal the top card of your deck, and then you may play it as though it were in your hand. Otherwise, this turn, you may play it as though it were in your hand and otherwise put it in your discard. This is a good, I think, late game card advantage engine. If you get stalled out and you have a loot in play, you'll be able to continue to pay 2 ink every turn and just continue to, temporarily draw an extra card to use that turn. You gave it a C or a D. Joe was up at a B, and I had it a C plus B minus. I kind of like this card just for that late game card advantage. It being uninkable is a bit of a drag, but I think most of the time you're going to end up wanting to run this in case you get into a stall situation.
Yeah, I definitely would go just full C now, no D. For sure, there's gonna be situations. The more we go through the cards and look at the cards, I feel like it's gonna be a lot more top end, some stalemate games. So anything card advantage wise in the late game will be good, and that's what this is gonna be.
And just to note that it does say you may play it this turn. I don't believe that will let you ink the card, even though it says you may play it as though it were in your hand. So I don't think you can get extra ink off of this card, or at least ink the card if you can't play it.
Yeah, no, I believe you have to play it immediately too. Like once you reveal it, you got to play it or discard it. So you got to
Right. That is how it's
care
worded.
about your sequencing too.
Yep. Oh yeah, because you wouldn't be able to ink the card if you draw a card for turn and then activate the loot. You wouldn't be able to ink the card you drew for turn if you needed it to play the loot card.
Yeah.
So yeah, sequencing very important here.
Next up, we have Morty Fieldmouse. He's a 3-cost Sapphire 3/3. And once during your turn, whenever you put a card under one of your other characters, put the top card of your deck face down under this character. He quests for 1, and this character gets +1 lore for each card under him, just like Genie. Except for he doesn't have boost himself, so you have to get that card under him some other way. So we have C's across the board on this, and that's basically the reason why, because he doesn't put that card under himself.
Yep, and a 3/3 for 3 is a little bit understated. I think you're definitely going to want what the Rue card that you can tap to put under it, or like the Mickey where whenever he quests, you can put cards under your other ones.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of boost characters, like if you have him and Genie out, like when you boost Genie, you boost him too.
Yep.
So he's got an upside for sure.
Next we have Visiting Christmas Past. This is a 3-cost inkable action, and it says put any number of cards from under your characters and locations into your inkwell face down and exert it. We had a pretty wide range here. You gave it a C or an F. Mooman gave it an F, and I said it's a C plus build around, which basically says it's an F if you haven't built around it. And I think that's kind of what your grade is indicating as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same thing. If you have something to be able to early boost where you can then use it to ramp and then have a heavy top end, that's where I'm at with it.
Yep, I full agree.
All right. We have Darkwing's Chair Set, 3-cost uninkable item. When you play this item, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. And then it has exert, banish this item, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. If a character named Darkwing Duck is chosen, remove up to 4 damage instead. We gave this D's across the board. It is ramp, but it is uninkable. And its ability is semi-relevant, but not too relevant.
Yeah, especially when you compare it to a card like One Jump Ahead, which costs 1 less, and you can sing it to have the same basic effect where the damage, the ramp here is, I think, number 1, with the damage removal being number 2. So you're kind of overpaying to get that ramp. I think generally you're going to want to avoid this card unless you have some item or Darkwing Duck synergy.
Yeah, just the fact that you have to banish it. If it like tapped to remove 2 damage each turn, I think it would be better. But
sure, or like a Healing Decanter or Chromacon style card.
It's just a one shot.
Yep. Next we have Rapunzel, Ethereal Protector. This is a 3-cost, another uninkable character. She's a 3/3 that quests for 2. She has boost 2. And whenever she quests, if there's a card under her, chosen opposing character can't challenge until the start of your next turn. So you and I both gave this C's. Mooman gave it a B. I can definitely see where the B comes in, because if you can continue to quest with her she will kind of lock something out of being able to take her out. The character that she locks down can still quest, so it's not totally locked out. And you don't have to boost it every turn to get the effect. Once there's a card under her, she can activate that ability every turn when she quests.
Yeah. Uh, Mostly her stat line and her unique ability is a C instead of a B for me. The her ability to be able to lock someone down from not being able to challenge is powerful, but I'm not sure how long she's going to survive it. Going to have some work other cards around to protect her.
Yep. Yeah, I think if she were inkable, she might creep up a little, but I like her where we have her.
Yeah. Next up we have Duke Weaselton. He's a 3-cost steel 3/3, and whenever this character is banished, you may play a character with cost 2 or less for free. We have this as D's across the board, with you having it as a D plus. Yeah, I just like this ability is not going to be relevant too often,
Yeah,
and
I
just
think
like
most of the time you want those cards for ink at that
yeah,
point.
exactly,
This is not Lady, where you get a free card when you play it. It has to be banished first, and this is not constructed where you're going to have all those 2-drops.
exactly. So I mean, sometimes it'll sneak in, but try not to play it. Try to
Yeah,
find better
generally you're
three
not going to want
drops.
to have that 2-drop in your hand at the point this is being banished anyway. Next we have the Thunderquack. This is a 3-cost inkable item. It has 2 abilities. It says all opposing characters gain the villain classification, and it exerts if a character was banished in a challenge this turn, gain 1 lore. We both graded this as a D. Mooman has it as a C+. It could be a good way to get those last couple of lore, if you're at a point where you need to be challenging. I don't think the villain classification is going to be that big of a deal. There's a Darkwing, I think, that can challenge ready villain characters, so kind of a minor synergy there. But I just think for including this as a 3-drop item, you're going to want to get a little bit more out of it than gaining a couple lore over the course of the game, and conditional lore at that.
Yeah, just I don't know if 1 lore a turn is enough when you have to banish a character. It's not like if this is a spell book where you can just pay 1 to gain a lore. So yeah, it's a D for me.
Agree.
All right, next up we have an Amethyst 4-cost uninkable. This is Kristoff Icy Explorer. He's a 4/4. And when you play this character, you have a character named Anna in play. You may put a card from chosen player's discard on the bottom of their deck. And then his other ability is once during your turn, whenever a card leaves your discard, draw a card. He also quests for 1. Me and you have it as a D. Mooman has it as a C minus. Yeah, I just don't think his ability is ever really going to be relevant. You're never really going to draw. So you're paying 4 for a 4/4 when we've already seen 3-cost inkable 4/4s. So
Yeah, last week we had a 6/4 alert that was uninkable at the same cost. I think that's a substantially better card than this one. I don't think you're going to really activate either of those abilities at all. All right, next we have Todd, Playful Kit. This is a 4-cost inkable emerald character. He has 2 strength and 4 willpower. He quests for 2, and he has, whenever this character quests, you can choose 1. You can gain a lore, or chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So he can quest for 3 if you need him to close out the game, or he can give himself evasive. So he's essentially a 4-cost 2/4 evasive that quests for 2, which is a pretty powerful card. We gave him Bs across the board. I think this is a card you're going to take highly and often. And I mean, if he can survive a challenge, you can give another character evasive. The flexibility here is really nice.
yeah, he's going to be a card you want to take for sure. The flexibility is very good. Yeah, protect himself, protect someone else, gain a lore. It does it all.
The two,
And
four, three
most of the
quest is
evasives
nice.
are right now are like the common and uncommon. Most of them are 2 power,
Yep.
besides a few higher cost ones. So usually he'll be able to get that first quest off without getting banished. Next up, we have a 4-cost Emerald Action, Freeze the Vine. banish all locations, draw 2 cards, then choose and discard a card. We gave this F across the board. I like cantrips, but this is too expensive a one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Strike a Good Match costs 2 and is singable, and it has basically the same usable text on it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some world you board this in when someone's playing 3 game preserves on you, but
You're in
that's
big
it.
trouble then anyway. We're going to avoid that one. All right, next we have Battering Ram. This is a 4-cost inkable item. You can exert it to deal damage to a chosen damaged character, or you can tap and banish it to banish a location. We both gave this D's. Mooman gave it a C minus. Really, that condition, I think, of it having to be a damaged character in order to banish it is what's holding this back. Even at 4 tap to deal damage to any character, I think would have me in the D plus C minus range. But as it stands, I think I'll be, again, trying to avoid this item.
Yeah, agree. Having to deal with a damaged character, agree that if it was even to a non-damaged character, it would still only be a D plus C, just because it's so expensive and everything is just so big.
Yep. Yeah, 1 damage on your 5/6s and 6/7s and 7/6s is not getting it done.
All right, now we have Willie the Giant. He is a 4-cost Ruby 7/7 with Quest for 2, and he has the ability, this character can't quest or challenge unless you put a card under him this turn, and he has boost 3 to be able to activate that.
Is that
So,
the highest boost cost we've seen?
yeah, I think 3 is the highest.
And the only card in the last set I think that had that was
The
the
Fairy
Amber
Godmother.
Mufasa Simba. Oh, and the Fairy Godmother also. And
Yeah,
those
I think she
cards
was
didn't
3.
really see a lot of play.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave this one a C, Mooman gave it a C, and you gave it a D. I just think that maybe clogging up the board sometimes is worth it. Being able to be able to stop them from questing for the fear of you challenging.
Yeah, I think the threat of activation is going to go a long way here. If you put this card into play, it's going to make your opponent think twice about doing anything, even though it's going to cost you. It's still generally going to be to your advantage when you do activate it. And once you pay 3 and turn it sideways, they're not going to want to challenge into it. They're going to have to put multiple characters into it to take it out.
Yeah, it's definitely like guaranteed for 2, and then you could just keep on paying 3 to keep on getting 2 more. And your curve is usually going to have a ton of 3s, so a lot of times you'll turn 6, you won't mind having to boost this and then play a 3-drop.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see coming up to a D plus or C minus on this. It seems like a lot of the best 4s are uninkable, so having a large body inkable 4 could be advantageous as well. All right, next we have the Graveyard of Christmas Future. This is a 4-cost location. It is inkable. It costs 1 to move a character there, and it has 8 willpower. It'll gain you 1 lore at the start of each of your turn. And it says, whenever you move a character here, put the top card of your deck under this location face down. And then at the start of your turn, you may put all cards from under this location into your hand. And if you do, banish this location. You guys both give this a C minus. I gave it a D. I could see this card being a remarkable card advantage tool. You just have to really sculpt a board state into a position where you can move a bunch of characters there in 1 turn, and then hopefully your opponent doesn't have a rush character or some way to boost the strength of one of their characters, because if you put a bunch of ink into moving characters here for your opponent just to crush it, and you lose all those cards, it's going to feel very bad. But I think your C pluses or your C minuses are well deserved, because if you do build around this correctly, this will be a huge card advantage tool for you.
Yeah, the reason I went up from a D to a C minus is because I think like it'll be more relevant. It'll be relevant more than 10% of the time. You can play to draw it, you can play around it when it's in your hand, or you can just ink it.
Yeah, if this was uninkable, I think it would be unplayable. And I'll definitely give it a try before settling on that D, but I'm coming down a little hard on this one initially.
Next up, we have a 4-cost uninkable steel character, the Grand Councilwoman. She's a 3/5 vanilla quest for 3. We got this as C's across the board with you a C minus. Yeah, I just 3 lore. She gets 1 quest off. Occasionally, maybe she gets 2. So I mean, not the best stat line, but I mean
Yeah,
there are better 4-drop uninkables. So you probably won't play her very often. This is more of a sealed card than a draft card, is my guess.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, 3 lore pips is never anything to sneeze at. But I think your 4-cost uninkable slot is going to get kind of crowded, so that's why I came down on it a little bit with the minus. But yeah, you can't go wrong generally with 3 lore. It'll close out a game pretty quickly if you can protect it. But I'll be, generally I think looking for better 4-cost uninkables, but won't be mad at this one. All right, next we have Let's Get Dangerous. This is a 4-cost inkable action song. It says each player shuffles their deck and then reveals the top card. Each player who reveals a character may play that character for free. Otherwise, put the revealed cards on the bottom of their player's deck. And notably, a lot of times when you're playing your card for free off the top, it's going to come into play exerted. This one, the card will enter readied. You gave this a C. Mooman and I both gave it Fs. I'm just not ready to get dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, I'm a degenerate gambler apparently. Yeah, it's probably an F, but I could see you just trying to get lucky, especially if it's sealed. If your pool is mediocre, and just let's hope I get my 7 drop off the top.
Nice. And, if you're in a good deck, a good drafter and a good deck builder, and you feel like your deck is going to have better cards in it than your opponent, I could see where you'd want to play this as well. You just think that you're going to overall have that advantage. But yeah, I'm gonna avoid this one.
I mean, you probably should avoid it, but I'm gonna play it.
Nice.
All right, next we have our first A of the day. This is Stitch, Carefree Snowboarder. He's a 5-cost Amber 4/5 who quests for 2. And whenever this character quests, if you have 2 or more other characters in play, you may draw a card. And this is limited. You're going to have a bunch of characters in play. You're drawing some cards.
Yeah, this card is wonderful.
If he ever even quests twice, like, he is just busted.
Yeah, you've cashed in big time if you can draw 2 off this. And they're gonna have to put something worthwhile into it to take it out. Once you turn it sideways, a quest for 2. There's nothing to not like about this card. Straight A's. Next, we have Cobra Bubbles, Dedicated Official. This is a 5-cost uninkable, 3 strength and 6 willpower. He quests for 2. And whenever he quests, you can choose an opposing character. They can't challenge and must quest during their next turn if able. So he's going to protect himself and maybe, protect your board a little bit by making it so that something can't challenge. And also force that character to turn sideways. So if they have a game piece that they're trying to protect, like the tree that reduces cost, they're generally not going to quest with that. So you can force them to turn some things sideways at a disadvantage. We both gave this a C, Mooman a B minus. I, it's uninkable and it's a 5, so it's kind of tough, but I think this guy could do some good work.
Yeah, definitely. The ability's very solid. Exactly as you said. It can be to protect your board or to make them turn something they don't want to turn sideways. So can be both used offensively and defensively, which is what I like. But uninkable and only a 3/6, so C instead of a B.
Yep.
Next up, we have Marshmallow Cranky Climber. He's a 5-cost uninkable Amethyst 5/5, and he quests for 2. And whenever this character quests, each opponent can't ready more than one of their characters at the start of the turn. Yeah, this is a B's across the board with you and Mooman giving a B plus. I mean, I probably should give a B plus too. It's just that ability is so powerful.
Yeah, it's a game warping ability. You're
Yeah.
going to put this in play, and your opponent has to really rethink everything they thought about their next turn. If they
Yeah,
even get much of a next turn, if they tap too many things, they're in trouble.
exactly. Just it completely changes the game, how it's played, which is kind of crazy because normally it's just, back and forth. But the decisions you have to make with the marshmallow in play is just a lot different than normal game patterns.
All right, next we have the Witches. The Witches of Morva, Ordu, Orwin, and Orgoch. I'm getting the tough card names tonight. This is another 5-cost uninkable character. They're a 4/4 and they quest for 2. And when you play it, you may return another character of yours to your hand. And if you do, you gain a lore. We gave this B's across the board. I gave this a B minus. This is probably a B, and might actually be closer to a B plus because this is one of the few cards in this set that will let you return any character of yours to your hand. And with some of the boost cards in the set, you're going to sometimes want ways to pick those up to draw a couple of extra cards. This is a card I think I'll be taking highly when I have boost cards, and if I don't have them yet, I'll definitely be looking for more of them once I have this card.
Oh, yeah, just with how many boost characters there are and how many their boost characters have just one, only cost 1 to boost. I think this card's worth it for sure. Just you'll get some inherent card advantage from it. And even there's a fair number of decent when you play 4-drops too, like Tigger or Isis. So being able to play Tigger, bounce something, play this to pick up the Tigger, or play the Isis, tap something, kill it, and then play this to pick up the Isis to tap something the next turn.
Yeah, definitely not a B minus. It's going to be a B or a B plus. I think the card advantage you'll get from this should be very good.
Next we have Copper, Champion of the Forest. He's a 5-cost Emerald 3/5. He quests for 2 and has Shift 3. His ability is whenever this character quests, your characters with evasive get +1 lore this turn. We got D's across the board here. He does have a 1-drop shift target, but he's just pretty small. And
yeah,
usually shifting, you don't really want to most of the time.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to have to play 1-drops to shift to 3/5 on 2, because on turn 3 you're getting 5/3s anyway at common. So the advantage of the bigger body isn't really there. And with only 9 evasive characters in the set, it's not going to do a ton of work with that second ability. All right, next we have Minnie Mouse, Mrs. Cratchit. This is a 5-cost inkable emerald character. She has 3 strength and 4 willpower. She quests for 2. She has ward. And when you play this character, you may put the top card of your deck face down under one of your characters or locations with boost. If you do, draw a card. You gave this a B plus/D. Mooman gave it a B minus. I gave it a B build around. So again, I think I simplified your thing into just the B build around. If you don't have the right boost cards in your deck, it's going to be closer to a D. That's way understated for a 5-cost card. Ward does not do as much for you in limited as it does in constructed, but if you have enough boost characters in your deck to be able to simultaneously boost something for free and draw a card, is pretty big game at your 5 spot.
Yeah, I think this card's going to see a ton of play just because there are so many boost characters. And yeah, but if you end up with the deck that doesn't have many boost characters, definitely pretty bad. As you said, understated for sure. All right, next up we have Negaduck, Public Enemy number 1. He is a 5-cost Ruby 6/5. And he has Shift 3. He quests for 1. And whenever this character challenges another character, each opponent loses 1 lore and you gain 1 lore. We gave this one a B's across the board. You and Mooman gave it B+. Yeah, I mean, 6/5 is a solid stat line, and the Drain, the lose 1 lore, gain 1 lore, is a pretty okay ability. Makes it worth it, I think.
Yeah, I think anytime when you can gain some lore while challenging and controlling the board, even if it didn't take the lore away, that's just kind of some icing on top. If you can shift this out on 3, you're going to be in a good position in that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Next, we have Piglet, Cocoa Maker. We have a 5-cost inkable sapphire character, 3 strength and 5 willpower. He quests for 2, shifts for 3, and at the end of your turn, you can remove 2 damage from each of your characters. This is, I think, basically a reprint of the Jasmine from set 1. I think she had or maybe she quested to remove 2 from each character, but that's pretty similar to a Jasmine we've seen in the past. You gave it a D plus. Moo and I both gave it C's. It's a little bit understated again for 5. The shiftability is nice, but the damage removal I don't think is enough to pull it up any really higher than a C. This is going to be kind of a middling card, maybe a late include.
Yeah, definitely. I think a late include. I think if somehow like you end up with a bunch of like the vanilla 4/6s for 4, it could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Yep. Things that'll hold a bunch of damage that you can
Yeah.
clean up.
All right. Next we have Pete, Ghost of Christmas Future. He's a 5 cost Sapphire 5/5 with boost 1. He quests for 1, and whenever this character quests, look at a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards under him. Put 1 into your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So he is an A across the board because he is card advantage. And if you get to put multiple cards on him before you use them, being able to choose and just keep your high end, keep on coming. Just put the latest at 5, and then just keep on slamming 6s. Be pretty good.
Yeah, love this card. I think this card's going to see a little bit of constructed play as well. It's a big body. It's going to draw you cards and give you card selection. If you can get, like you said, the extra boost and actually get some real filtering and selection, this card's a home run.
Yep. Definitely want to take this one as soon as possible.
Let it go. She's back. We have a 5-cost inkable action song. Real simple. Put chosen character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. This is a straight A card. This card will remove anything on the board. It can be sung. I wish we still had that set 1 art. I like that one a little bit better, but it's going to give us a chance to use our DLC promos and constructed. And I'm really looking forward to having this in this limited format and back into core.
Yeah, I mean, anything that hard removal like this is always great. The art is grown on me though. At first I didn't like it, but it's grown on me.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's a beautiful piece of art.
But I mean, this is one of those cards that you have in your opener, you just keep it.
Yeah.
Make sure you can
absolutely
deal with the biggest threat.
Yep. Yeah, even if you have to hardcast it on turn 5 and you can't wait till turn 6 to sing it with your 5-drop, any just hard removal like that, and at that point, ramping your opponent isn't as big of a deal a little bit later in the game.
Next up, we have Darkwing Duck. He is a 5-cost steel 4/5 with Challenger 2. He quests for 2. And during your turn, whenever an item is banished, this character gains resist 1 to the start of your next turn. We gave him C's across the board. Yeah, just the Challenger 2, making him a 6/5. It's pretty solid stat line. Quest for 2, I like a lot. The item part is probably almost never going to come into play, but it could occasionally.
When you have Darkwing's chair.
That's, yeah.
I think that's more of a pipe dream than anything else. Yeah, generally this is a C level card. You'll include it. It quests for 2. Not bad at your 5 spot. Sings Let It Go.
Yep.
Next, we have Widow Tweed, Kindly Soul. She's a 6-cost uninkable character. She has 2 strength and 8 willpower. She quests for 2, and when you play this character, you can return a character from your discard to your hand. If that character is named Todd, you may play him for free. You and Moo both gave this a D. I gave this a C minus. 6 uninkable is a huge ask. But I do like always the ability to return cards from characters from my discard to my hand. It is card advantage. You can, trade something off, earlier mid game, or somebody figures out a way to take out your big character, and this is a way to get it back. With that 8 willpower, should be able to get at least 2 quests out of it. But the two strength isn't taking anything out. But yeah, I think that plants it firmly in that C, low C, D range.
Yeah, I think the evaluation of this one comes down to how many Todds you have. And especially like if you have like multiple of the 4-drop Todd, or 1 4-drop Todd and 1 7-drop Todd, or I think it just goes up more. Because the 8 willpower is relevant. I mean, it's almost always going to take 2 character challenge into it. So especially if your board's wider, it helps. or it's just questing for 2 if they ignore it.
Yeah, there's some stuff to like. It's the 6 uninkable is a big
Yeah,
detractor.
uninkable is always a problem.
Yep.
Next, we have Morgana Macabre. She's a 6-cost Amethyst 6/6 with Shift 4, Quest for 1. When you play this character, you may choose an opposing character and move 1 damage from each other character to them. Me and you have it as an A, and Mooman has it as a B+. Yeah, I think you're going to be playing that common 5/3 a bunch, so there will be a shift target for it. I mean, most of the time you probably won't need it, but it'll be there. And then just being able to put some damage on a readied character,
Yep.
potentially take it out, is
Yeah,
pretty solid.
Bell's still good. Moving damage around is excellent. You know, you can't move a full 3 off of something, but moving 1 from every other character in play to 1 character is generally going to be enough to take 1 out if you set it up correctly. All right, next we have Jumba Jukuba, Prolific Inventor. And this is going to start a cycle of 6 cards that are all overcosted for their stats, but all have a cost reduction built into them. So this is an 8-cost inkable that is 4 strength and 5 willpower. It quests for 2. Its cost reduction is for each character you have in play. You pay 1 less to play this character. And whenever it quests, you may remove all damage from chosen character. We both gave this C's. Moo gave it a B-. You know, if you have 4 other characters in play, 3 or 4 other characters in play, you can play this on turn 4 or turn 5. If you have a super aggro deck, you know, you can get this down a little bit earlier if your board is pretty wide, and then being able to heal your characters, heal a character, but all damage is nice as well.
Yeah, most of the time this is probably going to be, a 4/5 for 5, I would
Yep.
guess. So it's not the worst, and the ability, and it can always be less, and there's, worlds where this is in the aggro deck that
We're
may or may
working
not
to, we're
exist.
gonna make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Stegmutt, Clumsy Dinosaur. He's the 8-cost Emerald 7/7, and his reduction is for each item card in your discard, you pay 1 less for this character. He quests for 2, and when you play this character, you may put 3 item cards from your discard on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, deal 3 damage to chosen character. Me and Moo have this as an F. You have it as a D-.
It's probably F+, just
Yeah,
because it's huge. I'm never putting this in my deck, I don't think.
no, I don't think, I don't think you're ever getting a reduction. I don't think there's enough items that are worth putting in your deck to get the reduction.
Right?
And
It's
so
not
then
worth the Darkwing chair and the John Smith compass to do
yeah,
this.
and you're never going to do the 3 damage. If there's some way, there's some like cantripping items that you could deal the 3 damage, he might be playable, but no, F.
Right, yeah, you really don't want your loot to end up in the discard. All right, next is Dr. Hempsterville, Infamous Scientist. He's a 8-cost inkable steel character. He's a 5/5 that quests for 2. For each alien in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character. When you play him, chosen opposing character can't challenge during their next turn. You gave it the C build around, F, alien. How many aliens do you have? Moo gave it an F+, I gave it a D. There were a good amount of aliens in this set. They do have to be banished to have any effect on the Dr. Hamster. But he does have a nice ability. When you play him, it's going to stop something from challenging. He can provide protection for a turn. You know, at the top end of your curve, that protection could be enough to close out the game on the next turn. Even if you only have 1 or 2 aliens in your discard and you're playing this for 6 or 7, 1 turn window of something not being able to challenge can seal the game away.
Yeah, that's why I gave him the C. If you have even like maybe 6 aliens that cost 4 or less, and you can get that 2 cost reduction from this, I think it's worth it.
Yep. Just be sure to trade them off first.
Yeah. Next we have Eeyore. He is a 9-cost Amethyst 5/5, and his reduction comes from each exerted character in play. You pay 1 less for this character. He quests for 2, and when you play this character for each opposing player, you may choose a character theirs they can't ready at the start of the next turn. I have this as a B, Mooman a B plus, and you a C plus. Yeah, I just feel that a lot of games, this is coming down for pretty cheap, and locking down a character is pretty relevant. Stat line is solid, especially if you're only paying, 4 for it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of turns I could see where there's going to be 4, 5, 6 exerted characters in play. And I mean, if your opponent has 3 tap things and you can tap 3 things and then play this for 3, keep one of their things locked down. I mean, that's Magical Christmas Land, but in the Magical Christmas set, that's what we have to hope for.
Exactly.
Next we have Olaf, Snowman of Action. He's a 9-cost inkable, 4/4, quest for 2. For each action in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this character. When you play this character, each opponent loses 2 lore. We gave this Fs across the board. If we could have a ton of actions in our deck, if you magically had like 3 or 4 let it goes, maybe this card goes up a little bit, but that's a situation that's generally not going to happen, and you should generally avoid this card.
Yeah, I should totally avoid this card unless you see him
Yes.
lapping. You can get multiple of them, and then you just take every winter spell you see, and you just get him out for super cheap.
There's ways to do it, but don't
But
do
don't
those
do it.
things.
There's ways to do it, but don't do it. Next we have Grandma Tala, Connected to Nature. She's a 12-cost uninkable 6/6. The quest for 2, and her reduction is for each card in your inkwell, you pay 1 less to play this character. So she is basically a 6-cost 6/6. The quest for 2, it's uninkable. I gave her a C. Both of you gave her a D. Yeah, the unequal is probably the bad part, but quest for 2, 6/6 seems okay.
You've got similar stat lines on cards that are inkable at the same cost, so I'm going to
Yeah.
try and have those ahead. But, in a shallow sealed pool or as your 35th inclusion in a draft deck, this might make the cut. Super rares. Now we get exciting. We're going to lead off here with Pocahontas, Following the Wind. This is a 2-cost uninkable amethyst card. She has 3 strength and 2 willpower, and whenever she quests, gain lore equal to another chosen exerted character's lore. And that can target both sides. It doesn't have to be one of your characters. So if your opponent has a, Grand Councilwoman or another nice 3-quester in play, this card could have some advantage. We gave it straight C's, 3/2 for 2. The gains of lore is about what you'd expect. Nothing spectacular here, but a solid playable card.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to gain you at least 2 lore, probably more. So, slightly better in the lore stat line than the regular 2 drops you have. Next up is Mulan, Resourceful Recruit. She is a 2-cost Emerald 1/4. And whenever this character quests, gain lore equal to her strength to a maximum of 6 lore. I have her as a D, you and Mooman as a C. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you get enough of the Typhoon cards or enough support cards, she could be better. But most of the time, she's probably just questing for 1 and just a 1/4 for 2. Not super interested in. If you have the build around cards, for sure.
How many of those build around cards do you actually want to play to make one card in your deck good?
Well, if you have the support ones, they're good no matter what. So it's an inclusion. If you have, I wouldn't take her early and then take support cards. I would take the support cards when I needed them, and then if I have enough, take her later.
Right. That was more of a dig on the like +5 strength action. Don't put bad cards in your deck to make other medium cards a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next we have Beast, Snowfield Troublemaker. This is a 2-cost inkable ruby character. He has 3 strength and 1 willpower. He quests for 1. He has rush. And whenever he challenges, if he's out of location, he takes no damage from the challenge. Generally, this is going to be just a 2-cost kind of removal spell. You're going to play him to be able to challenge into something that has 3 willpower or just needs to be finished taking out. You guys both gave him D's. I gave him a C. I tend to rate rush cards, I think, a little bit more highly because I kind of see them as character / removal because your opponent doesn't know, when they're coming. They mess up math pretty bad. But as
Yeah,
that
I can
one
definitely see this as
toughness
a C.
is tricky.
Yeah, there aren't really enough locations to be able to get 6 damage out of them. Maybe occasionally you might, but
Well,
yeah, I
that's
see what
only
you're
when he
saying about the
challenges.
rush.
It's not even when he gets challenged back. It's only when he's the one doing the challenge.
Yeah, but I mean, he survives the challenge, so you'll
Sure,
if they want to challenge back, he's gonna be able to put 6 damage out.
definitely.
All right, next up we have Lilo bundled up. She is a 2-cost uninkable steel 1/2. She quests for 2, and during each opponent's turn, the first time this character would take damage, she takes no damage instead. We gave her C's across the board, but she's in that aggro deck, so maybe she's better. And it's relevant to know that take means move damage, put damage, dealt damage. So if you're the Morgana can't move damage to her until after the bubbles popped.
Yep. Yeah, just a solid 2-drop. Your opponent's going to have to waste challenges putting extra things into her. But as a 1/2 for 2, is understated at that ink value and being uninkable. This is probably closer to actually a C or a C minus, because even with that protection, your opponent is generally going to have 2 characters that can take a damage to take her out. Next we have Angela, the Night Warrior. She's a 3-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 1. She says when you play this character, you may give chosen character Challenger 2 and Resist 2 until the start of your next turn, and your gargoyle characters lose Stone by Day. So the losing Stone by Day is a little bit of flavor text. I think the only gargoyle with that in this set is the Eliza Mazza card. But you can't scoff at a mini crab, and it's a mini crab with protection. So this is going to give the character the ability to trade up, and a lot of times also survive that challenge. You have this at a C. Moo and I both have it as Bs. It is, slightly understated for 3, but I think being able to surprise your opponent with that extra challenger and the resist to have your character survive, and the resist going through the entire turn cycle, so it's going to make it harder for your opponent to challenge back into the character that just did the challenging.
Yeah, I didn't notice that when I first read this, so that's why my rating is wrong. It should definitely be a B. The +2 through the resist through the full turn cycle is way better than just 2 on the just your turn.
It'd be really sweet if it actually gave it a full +2 strength, so it could really
Oh
take
yeah.
that crack back, but I think that'd be a little too strong.
Next up we have Bambi Ethereal Fawn. It's a 4-cost inkable amber 3/5 that quests for 1, boost 2, and during your turn, whenever this character exerts, reveal a number of cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards under him. Put all revealed character cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And being that almost 90+% of your deck is going to be character cards, it's drawing a bunch of cards. Yeah, this is another one that if you can use it twice, amazing.
And it's
A's
even
across
better
the
that
board.
it's just exert. So even in
Yep.
the terrible situation where you need Bambi to challenge it to something, you still get to draw that card off it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, can't say anything bad about Bambi.
No. I'm trying to decide whether I like Bambi more or Stitch more. I think I like Bambi more.
I think I like Stitch more, because even though it quests for 2 and it's a 4/5, and even though it costs 1 more, you're gonna get a card you're gonna miss on this, a low percentage of
Yeah,
the time, but
that's fair.
sometimes. So Stitch is a 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stitch is
So
5, 4, 5, 4,
even
5.
though it costs 1 more, you're almost always going to be able to have the second character in play. Um, but this does have a higher upside for sure, where if you can somehow get the extra cards underneath it, you can have a pretty nutso turn where you turn it sideways and draw 3 cards. I'm always going to go with the guarantee over the upside, but
Yeah,
I,
I'm a gambler, so
I
going upside.
Hey, you're in New Orleans, man. I guess we have casinos down here now in Florida too, but not Not quite the level of New Orleans. All right, next we have Sven, Leaping Reindeer. It's a 4 cost, again, another 4 uninkable. Amethyst character. He has 2 strength and 3 willpower. He quests for 1. He's got all the keywords. He has rush, he has evasive, and he has challenger 3. So even though he can't tap something down like Elsa 5, he's still going to get in there and take out, I think, everything except Lumpy. Is Lumpy a 6/5? Or is he 6/6? I forget from last week.
I think Lumpy's a 6/5.
Yeah,
I think he
I
takes out
think,
everything.
yeah, I think Sven is a removal spell. We gave him bees. We gave him bees across the board. He's going to take out everything that matters, and if he lives to tell about it, your opponent's going to have a tough time cracking back into him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Lumpy is a 6/5. He takes out everything.
Yep.
Just, yeah, as you said, Rush is a removal. Think of it as a removal card, not a character.
Yep. I think the only thing keeping him out of the A's is his uninkability,
Yeah.
and just how clogged your 4 uninkable is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be very clogged. There are a lot of good uninkable 4s. All right, next up we have Colors of the Wind. It's a 4-cost inkable amethyst song. And each player reveals the top card of their deck. Draw a card for each different ink type of cards revealed this way. It's going to be guaranteed draw 1. Most of the time, draw 2. So it's a song, so you can sing it. Anything that's going to draw 2, I'm going to rank high. So we have it as Bs across the board.
Yeah, I was thinking about this card a little bit more. I think I'm even a little high on it. I think it just might be like a B-, because there is some time where you're just going to pay 4 and cantrip. With most decks are going to have all 6 colors in them, so you do have a good chance of drawing 2 cards, but not guarantee the draw 2. It might be a little bit lower for me than the B I initially gave it, but still a good card that I won't cut. I'll just be hoping every time to draw 2.
You just got to believe.
Next we have Goofy, the Ghost of Jacob Marley. It's a 4 cost, another uninkable 4. He's a 4/4 that quests for 2. Excuse me. He has boost 2, and when this character is banished, each opponent chooses and discards a card for each card that was under him. We give this Bs across the board. The boost 2 is a lot more than boost 1, but as soon as you get 1 card under him, your opponent is going to not want to challenge into him. And if he survives a turn cycle and you can somehow get another card under him, your opponent's definitely going to have a real tough decision if they're going to want to just take 2 every turn or have to, discard 2 or eventually 3 cards.
Yeah. The quest for 2 and the fact that it's on either turn. So if need be, you can find a way to challenge in to get their card also. But then even if if they end up at like 6 ink with a bunch of 6s in hand, they don't want to get rid of one. They might let this guy quest for a couple times until they can empty their hand to be able to challenge him. So you might end up getting a sneaky 4 lore, 5, 6 lore out of him.
Yeah, I like cards that have your opponents making tough decisions, and
Yep,
this is
absolutely.
definitely one of them.
All right, now we have another uninkable 4-drop. This is Scrooge McDuck, Ebenezer Scrooge. He is a Ruby 4/3, quest for 1, and whenever this character quests, each opponent loses 1 lore. Draw a card for each 1 lore lost this way. And a second ability, at the end of your turn, if an opponent has 0 lore, gain 1 lore. So he's basically 4/3 for 4 that's going to draw you a card.
And then he's going to get taken out.
Yeah, and then he's going to, someone's going to crash into it. So we gave him Bs across the board.
He replaces himself. He gets a lure. It's not bad. That the uninkable is tough. He might be a B because of that. Just because he is only going to get 1 card most of the time.
Yeah, anytime any of these cards that draw you a card can get 2 cards, they just skyrocket in value.
Next we have Nani's Payback. This is a 4 cost action. It is inkable. It is Ruby. It says each opponent loses lore equal to the damage on chosen character of yours to a maximum of 4 lore each. Draw a card. We give this Fs across the board. Paying 4 ink to draw a card and have your opponent lose a couple lore is not worth a slot in your deck. Even with possible action synergy, I still don't see this being worth the include. I'll
Yeah,
even be
the situations that you'll need this to be good are so niche and hard to find that it's just not worth trying to get there.
yeah. If you're at a point where you're playing this card to take 4 lore away from your opponent, your game you've lost that game already.
Or you just won the game because of it. Just swing the race.
Again,
But
a
like
card that
it's
we'll lose
so
to
many
but
things need to
never
be
play.
perfect for that to work.
I'm just gonna pick up my cards and go home when someone plays that against me. It's gonna be like, what is happening here?
Exactly. All right, another 4-cost uninkable. This is Darkwing Duck, Dashing Gadgeteer. He is a Sapphire 3/5. He quests for 1. Whenever this character quests, you may put an item card from your discard on the bottom of your deck. If you do, you may play an item that costs 5 or less from your discard for free. We gave this one D's across the board because there's just not enough item synergy to make this worthwhile.
Yeah, I think actually this is probably just an F.
Yeah.
The 4-cost on it, we just keep saying 4-cost uninkable, 4-cost uninkable, and there's so many that are so good. To have a slightly, I mean, I guess it's on par as a 3/5. It might even be a little understated at this point. But only 1 lore pip, and you need 2 item cards in your discard to make its ability work. I just don't want to be wasting my time with this.
Yeah, if you somehow have to have a pretty crazy synergistic detective Darkwing Duck deck, and I'm not sure if that's even good. So
Right. Next we have Belle, Snowfield Strategist. Is a 4-cost inkable card. She's a 2/3 that quests for 2. And whenever one of your characters is banished, you may put that card from your discard into your inkwell, face down and exerted. We gave this A's across the board. I give it an A-. It's probably just a solid A. Turning every game piece in play into ink when it goes. You just get to a point where you don't have to ink cards from your hand anymore. You'll be double spelling every turn, and you'll be ink rich. I think take this card early and be excited that you got it.
yeah, absolutely. As we're talking about all these 4-drops that draw a card, if you can play this on 4 and have one of your 1, 2s, or 3s crash into something and go straight to the inkwell, that's drawing a card. So, and this has the ability to draw lots of cards.
Yep. Big card advantage from
Yep.
this.
So you can stop inking and get to your 7s and just be able to play all the lumpies.
And then when when that ability has reached its point, then she can actually start questing for 2. You probably only get 1 quest out of her, but being able to quest for 2 is still good.
Next up, we have Chernabog, Unnatural Force. He is a 5-cost uninkable. He is Emerald 5/4, quest for 2. And when you play this character, you may shuffle a chosen opposing character into their player's deck. If you do, that player may play a character from the discard for free. We have this as B's across the board. I think a fair number of games that you can play it to where you can make this just hard removal. You can kind of get that stalemate going and then have this come down, or just trade into one of their early drops that is basically irrelevant. And
Yep.
so you kill one of their 5s or 6s, and they get back a 1 or a 2.
And it's a May, so if something, if they have some way to like discard a big card, then you can just play this card as a 5/4 the quest for 2 and just say skip that ability. Next we have John Smith, Undaunted Protector, 5-cost uninkable. It's a 3/6 quest for 2. It's a bodyguard, and it says opponents must choose this character for actions and abilities if able. That's a little bit more flavor text and a little bit more constructed centered, I think. 3/6 bodyguard is still nice. It's a quest for 2. But I think for the most part, I'm going to rather have that 5-cost inkable 6/5 bodyguard. That's a common. I think you're going to have slightly better options at this ink spot, and that's why we gave it C- and you gave it a D. The uninkability here, I think, really holds this card back.
Yeah, definitely. Just having the other 5-cost bodyguard, that common or uncommon, that's a 6/5, just feels better. I guess maybe he could be a good sideboard too for if your opponent has a bunch of support cards, because they must choose it, I would assume, for support.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't really considered abilities like that, but that would be terrible for them.
All right, now we have Lilo Rockstar. She's a 6-cost Amber, 3/5 inkable. She quests for 2 and has shift 4. And whenever this character quests, you may play a character with cost 2 or less from your discard for free. Me and Mooman have it as a D, and you have it as a C minus. Yeah, there's not enough 2s you want to get back. The shift targets are all, not the best. I mean, you're gonna end up playing some every once in a while. It's just most of the time, it's just not going to be worth it. There are
Yeah,
better 6-drops.
you guys are right with your Ds there. You don't really want to have that many 2s in play to be able to return them. I guess if you're in our magical aggro deck, then
Yeah, she's definitely getting our magical
then you'll
aggro
have the
deck.
cards to make this work. I think this card will probably be overrated by the community, by the limited players in general, or at least the more casuals. You don't want to have that many 2s, and you don't want to have that many 2s in play. You want to just curve right out and start inking your 2s. Next, we have Tamatoa, Seeker of Shine. This is a 7-cost inkable 6/6. Boost 2, it has Ward. And whenever you put a card under one of your characters or locations, he gets +1 for that turn. You guys gave him C's, I gave him a D+. I think it's 7. You just have slightly better options that are going to give you more lore and better stats without having to do any work at all. I do like that it keys off of every character in play, but the boost 2 and having to pay that boost 2 every turn to get the 1 extra lore per turn seems like a little bit too big of an ink sink for my liking to be playing it regularly.
Yeah, I probably should give this a lower grade. Just there are better 7s, even like the what's his name,
Space
Chinpo.
Cows.
Yes, yeah, Space Cows, Chinpo. There's too many hoops, I guess. And yeah, the ward's not super relevant.
Yeah, I mean, Space Cows is a 6/8 for 7. They quest for 3. So I'd rather have 4 Space Cows than a Tamatoa, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And not that I want 4 Space Cows either, but, for 7s.
And now we have our Wrath of God, our Banish All Characters card. Raging Storm, 8-cost uninkable Amber action, banish all characters. I gave this a D+. You gave it a D. Mooman gave it an F. Yeah, I mean, usually if you're playing this, you're probably in desperation mode. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there's a world where this is a sealed card more than a draft card, and if the seal plays out and draft play out like I kind of think, where it's going to be a lot more larger characters going back and forth, you might be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah, I think this version of this card not being a song, costing 1 more than Be Prepared did, being uninkable, you generally aren't going to want to get to 8 ink. I think you want to stop at 6 or 7, depending on your deck composition. To have to ink that 8th card, and especially now that we're looking at a 35-card limited deck, by the time you've inked, more than 20% of your deck, you want to be playing big characters, and I don't think this is really where you're going to want to be. I mean, when it's good, it's going to save your butt, but I think for the most part, this will be an overdrafted card for sure.
Yeah, I think
people are going to die with this card in their hand all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you have enough of inking off of something else, like if you have Bell or the Jiminy Cricket or any of the cards that ink for you, it's more playable, but I still don't think it's very playable.
If you have Bell in this, you're going to end up with like 20 ink.
Up next, the legendaries.
All right. We have Ohana Means Family. 3-cost Rapunzel. No, it's a 3-cost action. It says remove all damage from chosen character of yours. Draw a card for each 1 damage removed this way. I mean, it doesn't come with the 1/5 body that quests for 2, but it also isn't limited to drawing you 3 cards. We gave this A's across the board. It's a way to clean up damage from one of your big characters and just get so far ahead in cards that this card is amazing. Take this often, take this early. This will be one of the best cards in your deck.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have scenarios every game where your 4/5s are crashing into each other.
The first time you draw cards off of your space cows with this, you refill your hand. Good old draw 7.
You might deck yourself.
You might deck yourself. It'll be worth it. You'll have drawn 7. It'll feel
Yeah.
so good.
All right, next we have our set champs card, right? Isn't that this one?
Oh yeah, I didn't get the special art up for this one.
This
Sorry,
is
everyone.
3-cost inkable amethyst Tinkerbell Snowflake Collector. She quests for 1, and while you have 4 or more cards in your hand, this character gains evasive. And while you have 7 or more cards in hand, this character gets +3 lore. So it's
Ohana
basically a
means
3/3.
Tinkerbell quest for 4.
So it's basically a 3/3 unless your Ohana means family and a space cow. Then it might quest for 4. So
Not
yeah, it's
yet.
just very understated. Her abilities are never going to be relevant. So
Yeah. If you can consistently have 4 cards in your hand in a game of limited Lorcana, you're pretty far ahead in that game anyway.
yeah.
Next, we have Donald Duck, Fred Honeywell. He's a 4-cost inkable emerald character. He has 4 strength and 4 willpower. He quests for 1. And he says, whenever you use the boost ability of a character, you may put the top card of your deck under them face down. So he double boosts cards. And during opponent's turns, whenever one of your other characters is banished, you may draw a card for each card that was under them. You gave this an A, Moo gave it a B, I gave it a B plus A minus. I think this is going to be a little contextual, again, about how many boost cards you have in your deck. This card really likes cards like Genie that get more ability for the more cards that are placed under them. And the fact that you get to draw cards when your boost characters are banished, this card could be an A plus in your deck if you have a ton of boost cards. But I generally like it at the B plus A minus level.
Yeah, it definitely contextual of how many boost cards are in your deck, and just having a few boost cards in play when you play this can just change the game dramatically. You might be able to get some free lore because they don't want to challenge, they don't want to give you cards. You don't even have to boost that much. Just one boost on each character could be enough. Like, never have to do it again.
Yeah, and even if they were pre-boosted before you played this, you'll still be able to draw the cards off that challenge. It changes how the game works pretty immediately.
Next up, we have Angel Experiment 624. She is a 4-cost inkable steel 3/3. While you have no cards in hand, this character gets resist 2. She quests for 1, and once during your turn, you may choose and discard a card to deal 2 damage to chosen character. We have this as B's across the board, with me and Moo Man giving it a B minus. Yeah, just the discard is probably only going to be relevant once, and then you can't really do it anymore because it's too much of a disadvantage, especially when how large all the characters are.
Yeah, the size of the characters I hadn't considered as much when grading this card, but this is a set like Whispers that does have a lot of large characters. It is nice to be able to turn your bad draws into Fire the Cannons for free. But the 3/3 for 4, is a little understated. You would like it if she had resist 2 all the time, but you really don't want to have no cards in hand, so that's kind of at odds with each other. But, discarding your 1s to deal 2 is a nice upside.
Yeah, definitely has some upside in the later game when she's just sitting there, and then if you draw a bad card, you can throw that Fire the Cannons around.
Next, we have Pocahontas, Peacekeeper, the split grade card of the day. Pocahontas is a 5-cost inkable character. She 3 strength and 6 willpower. She quests for 2. She shifts for 3. And when you play this character, if you use shift to play her, and none of your characters challenge this turn, characters can't challenge until the start of your next turn. So we all gave this A's, and then you gave it an F. Moo and I gave it D's. So this card says, if you shift me, you win the game. And otherwise, I'm an understated for 5 character. So, the 3/6 for 5 isn't terrible. She still does quests for 2, but this is a card that is going to win and lose games on the spot when it's shifted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I only need one small Pocahontas to play her, just
Yes.
to have that chance.
Yeah,
Because I
I'll
mean,
first pick this card every chance I get.
yeah.
But
Because
if
even
this
if
is your pack
like
4 open and you have no Pocahontas already, I good chance I'll find something else to take over it.
yeah, probably man, I don't know, maybe.
It depends on the context of the pack, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less appealing in pack 4.
That's true. All right, next up we have Anna, Soothing Sister. She's a 5-cost Amethyst 5/5, quest for 1. If a card left a player's discard this turn, this card gains shift 0. Whenever this character quests, you may gain lore equal to the lore of a character card in your discard. If you do, put that card on the bottom of your deck. I gave it a D. Both of you gave it a C. I probably want to retcon mine to a C. Just 5/5 is not the worst stat line for 5. And that quest is probably going to be at least 3 most of the time, is my guess. Her one quest she gets off before we start trading stuff.
Yep. Yeah, everything. I agree with everything you said. This is just a solid C. 5/5 for 5. It's going to quest for 2 or 3 and then trade off. Yeah, shifting it for 0. If you get the small Ana and you have the magical draw, you can play this on turn 2. The other Ana's a 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's a 2-drop.
So this isn't constructed, though, where you're going to have 4 of each in your deck. So I wouldn't rely on that too much. But if you open this and you take this first, I would definitely try to pick up a copy of the other Ana, just so that you might live the dream. All right, then we have Moana, Curious Explorer. She's a 5-cost inkable. She's a 4/4 and quest for 2, and she says you can ink cards from your discard. You gave this a C. Moo and I both gave it Bs. This is going to be a card not quite as good as Bell because it comes down a turn later, but it is going to basically let you not have to ink from your hand for the rest of the game. Things that you traded off early in the game then become your inks, so it's easy to get to the next turns to your 6s and 7s. You can still only ink cards that are inkable. You still only get the 1 ink per turn, but it does allow you to get card advantage from your discard, which is a great place to get it from.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably retcon this one to a B also, just because it's essentially like the other cards we talked about earlier. It's 5 ink to draw a card, and then maybe you get a second card off of it too, to get up to the 7th ink if you got 7 drops in your deck.
Yep. And you don't have to turn it sideways to do any of that.
All right, now we have Elsa, Ice Artisan. She's a 6-cost inkable ruby 5/5 with shift 4. She quests for 1. And when you play this character, and whenever you play a location, you may exert chosen character with 3 strength or less. And she has another ability. While this character is at a location, she gets +3 lore. Mooman and me both put this as an A. You have it as a B+. Yeah, just any exert ability, I'm always going to put high. Being able to dictate challenges in limited is always the thing you want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is going to work well with a lot of the cards that Moo like last week, all of the things that are going to tamper with strength. The Eliza Meza, I guess this is one card that would go against that, because you won't be able to drop the strength of characters. But now we're talking about assembling a lot of moving pieces together at once. I think the only thing that kept this out of the A was not the universal exertion, but the fact that you're only going to be able to exert some of the smaller characters. But there are some key cards, like the Bambi, I think, was a 3/5. So if there are some things that you can take out, or at least set up to take out with this card. Next, we have Scrooge McDuck, Reformed Ebenezer. We have a 6-cost inkable sapphire card. He's a 4/6. He quests for 2. He shifts for 4. And when you play him, you may put a card from the top of your deck face down under each of your other characters, regardless if they have boost or not. If you do, those characters gain ward until the start of your next turn. So the ward's not quite as relevant as being able to put a card under each of your cards. was we saw a card earlier where, well, I guess it was another legendary, the Donald Duck, where when those characters get banished, you'll be able to draw cards off of them. That'd be an amazing combo to assemble together. You guys both gave this a B. I gave this a C. It's probably a C plus. Going to again be contextual upon how many boost cards you have and being able to have those cards in play before you drop Scrooge. The 4/6 for 6 is slightly understated, but he does quest for 2. But you're going to be able to pull off some neat tricks with this card.
Yeah, that's the only reason I put it as a B. It's more contextual for sure. If you have the cards to go around it, just occasionally that put one under everything is going to win a game, you know?
Yep. Yeah, there's going to be some turns where you're able to put one under the genie and one under that Mickey and get some extra lure out of nowhere and close out a game quickly.
And now we have Todd knows all the tricks. He's a 7-cost inkable 6 emerald 6/6. He quests for 2. He has shift 5 and evasive. And his ability reads, twice during your turn, whenever this character is chosen for an action or an item's ability, you may ready him. Me and you have it as a B. Moo Man put it as a C+. He's just a large evasive, and there are one good shift target, though you probably don't want to shift on it. And then, they got the 1-drop shift target also. So if you can assemble some 1-drop shift targets and be able to shift this on 5, he's questing for a lot. And if you somehow have anything that readies him, even better.
Yeah, there's not a ton of characters to choose him for actions, and it is good that they put an items ability, because like you said, if you could just support onto him and ready him, this card would be really, really busto. But even as it is, it's a giant evasive character. It's going to take a lot to be able to remove this, or one lumpy to remove this from the board. But overall, I think you are, again, going to want to take this card early. Every time you see it, look for those shift targets, profit.
Yep. Tiny Tim's crutch. That's what you need.
Going up. All right, then we have Wreck-It Ralph, Raging Wrecker. He's a 7-cost, uninkable, 3/4, quest for 3. He has boost 1. He gets a strength for each card underneath him, and when he's banished, banish all characters with strength equal to or less than the strength he had while in play. You gave this a C+, Moo gave it an F, I gave it a D+. 7 cost uninkable, severely understated for that cost. Really is going to take some work to get him up into the range of where you want him, but he is a board wipe. It only takes 1 or 2 boosts before he's going to take out most every other character in play. Does require some work though to get him to that point. I don't think I would want to. I'm not sure if I'd want to take this card too highly. I think that 7 uninkable is going to have me looking for some other cards, pick 1 or pick 2. But if this card's still floating in the pack, pick 3, 4, 5, I might pick him up at that point.
Yeah, that's what I envisioned him going a little later, like at the 5, 6, 7 range, probably, because he's just so expensive in a 7. But he does quest for 3, and he has the ability to potentially get you back in a game or to close out a game if you can control when he is banished.
Right, and especially questing for 3. If you turn him sideways as a 4/4, your opponent's really going to have to think about how much of their board they want to lose to him. And if they don't take him out immediately, it's only going to get worse for them as you continue to boost him.
Next is Darkwing Duck, Cool Under Pressure. He's a 7-cost steel 6/8. He quests for 2. He has shift 5. And during your turn, whenever an item is banished, you may pay 1 to deal 2 damage to chosen character. And this character can challenge readied villain characters. We got B for me, B for Moo Man. You have it as a C+, B-. Yeah, he's there's a lot of Darkwing Duck characters, so there's a lot of shift targets. I didn't really look to see how many exact villains there are.
Well, you just need the Darkwing jet, and then everything's a villain.
Exactly. But quest for 2, 6/8 is a decent stat line. Having all the shift targets, you are almost, there's a couple playable items that banish themselves you might get the 2 damage off of, but probably not.
If you have this card, are you playing the chair?
I mean, yeah, I think I am.
Okay.
It helps you ramp to them and
Right.
be
It
able
ramps
to.
to him, it banishes to deal damage. It,
Yeah.
it it really checks all the boxes at that point. Are you playing the Darkwing airplane with this card?
Probably not.
Okay.
But
All right.
maybe,
So
I don't know. It's just it's you can't have like too many items because you have to play with the board so much.
yep. But the ability to challenge ready characters is
Yeah,
big game.
it is, but yeah, it might be worth it.
I don't know. Time will tell. It's a lot of moving pieces with the duck. Is that the last card? I believe.
And that is it.
Awesome. Well, we got through this one in a clean 90 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you most excited about coming into this weekend?
Just playing some limited, getting to build a sealed deck. It's gonna be great.
Nice. You have a
Hopefully, I'll be.
local shop
Hmm?
doing you have a local shop doing sealed pre-release this weekend?
Yeah. We got one on Friday, and I think there's more going on this weekend, but Friday's the only day I can make one, so I only get to do the one. But then hopefully I can convince the rest of the crew, the rest of the team, to at least do a draft.
Nice. Yeah. We've got a local pre-release this Friday night as well. There's actually a shop doing a case sealed pre-release on Sunday that I'm going to
Awesome.
try and convince my wife to let me get out to. We're not looking very favorable with that right now. We had some cube last weekend.
Yeah, I saw the
Uh,
pictures of everybody coming to your place on Friday for the cube.
Yeah, that was one of my teammates' places actually. He had to watch his kid for the night. His wife was out of town, so he's like, I'll host so I can play. So it was nice. We had a nice pod over there. The winning deck was probably one of the sweetest cube decks I've seen. He had he had Big Sisu with 2 shift targets for it. He had Max Goof with the Max Goof shift and a ton of targets to retrieve songs. And then he had Kita with Kita shift and Under the Sea, plus
Jeez.
songs to reduce cost and Sapphire Coil. I saw him go turn 1 with the boost Flynn from the last set, boosted on 2, and then Fox on 3 to pick up the Flynn plus the boosted card from underneath it. I think he went 3-0, 6-0 for the night. I didn't lose a game in my first 2 rounds, and then I hit him in round 3, and I thought my deck was pretty sweet, but it was not built to take out that synergy. He really maximized that 35 card deck.
Oh yeah, how you liking switching to 35 cards now?
It's really hard for Cube. It is really hard because all the cards are so good that making those last 5 cuts is really tricky. I had my deck down to 40. I didn't want to make those last 5 cuts. I was just having too much fun with the cards I had in there to cut the last ones, which is undisciplined. I need to work on that a little bit more to get used to that 35. And especially after seeing what the synergistic deck that my teammate built, it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. Yeah, I got your list. I'm gonna start putting it together. I gotta buy some sleeves to sleeve it up,
Nice.
but I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna try to get the team over sometime in March to do a day with Cuban.
Oh, that's amazing. We set the date. We're going to do the last Wednesday of every month now at the local shop. We're going to be cubing with my cube. So we're real excited to bring that to more people.
Awesome.
All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Um, really thanks everyone for tuning in again. If you want to get in touch with us, you can leave comments below. Please like and subscribe to our Snuggly Duckling channel. We have a whole team putting out content almost every day of the week. We have Mark and Dave doing their weekly show. We have the Ladies of Lorcana. We've got the Ducks After Dark. There's so much great content that our team is putting out. You're really doing yourself a disservice if you're not following us. If you want to get in touch with us, like I said, you could leave a note in the comments. You could email us directly, limitedquackdown@gmail.com. And for Moo Man, who is absent tonight, and for Jimmy, I'm Joe, signing off. Get out to your pre-releases, go kick some butt with this new knowledge, and we will see you guys next time.
See y'all later.